Hey there, rock fiends and casual riff thieves. You know that song, the one with the bass line that hits like a freight train derailing into your soul? Yeah, For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. It's the kind of track that sneaks into your brain, whether you're a die-hard thrash head or just someone who accidentally clicked on it while searching for Hemingway quotes. Everyone pretends they don't know it, but come on, that opening toll? It's universal. Like taxes, death, or that one uncle who air guitars at family barbecues. But buckle up, because today we're cracking open the chaos behind this beast. We're talking origins straight out of a bloody Civil War novel, riffs born in dingy jams, and enough cultural ripples to drown a mosh pit. And yeah, I'll throw in some puns so bad they'll make you groan louder than Lars Ulrich's snare. Let's toll the bell and get into it. Picture this. It's the early 80s, and Metallica are still these scrappy kids from the Bay Area, fresh off their debut Kill 'Em All, which was basically a sonic middle finger to anyone who thought metal couldn't be faster or angrier. But for their second album, they wanted depth, something that punched you in the gut while making you think. Enter For Whom the Bell Tolls, the spark? Ernest Hemingway's 1940 novel of the same name. Yeah, that Hemingway, the booze-loving, bullfight-obsessed literary giant who turned the Spanish Civil War into a page-turner about love, death, and dynamiting bridges. The title itself? Stolen, borrowed, from a 1623 poem by John Donne, No man is an island, send not to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Deep, right? It's basically saying we're all connected, and death's knock is everyone's problem. Hemingway slapped it on his book about an American volunteer blowing up fascist infrastructure, and boom, Metallica saw gold. But Cliff Burton, the band's bass wizard with the bell-bottoms and the brain, took it personal. He penned that iconic intro riff way back in 1979 before he even joined Metallica. Get this. He debuted it in a 12-minute jam at a battle of the bands with his old crew, Agents of Misfortune. Imagine young Cliff, hair down to his ass, shredding this atonal beast on bass, while the crowd probably wondered if their amps were possessed. Fast forward to '83, and he's rooming with Kirk Hammett on tour. Kirk recalls Cliff plucking it on a detuned acoustic guitar. Sounded weird, almost classical. Then James Hetfield jumps in, adds that chunky accent, and suddenly it's heavy as hell. What if Cliff never joined? Would we have For Whom the Bass Groans instead? Nah, but seriously, this riff's like the Mona Lisa of metal. Mysterious, timeless, and often mistaken for a guitar solo. Spoiler, it's all bass, baby. Distorted through a wah pedal, layered with 3 tracks, lead, clean, and harmonics. Pure genius. Now the lyrics. James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Cliff co-wrote them, channeling Hemingway's Chapter 27. That's where El Sordo and his 4 guerrilla fighters hold a hill against fascists, only to get bombed to oblivion. Visceral stuff. Make his fight on the hill in the early day. Constant chill deep inside. Feel that? Dawn's breaking, fog's thick, and these poor saps are shivering, not just from cold, but the bone-deep dread of war. Mini-Cliffhanger, will they hold? Nope. Shouting gun, on they run through the endless grey. On they fight, for their right, yes, but who's to say? Here's the punch, Futility. They're charging into smoke, guns blazing, but why? Ideology? Orders? The song roasts that blind obedience. For a hill men would kill. Why? They do not know. Obscure trivia alert. Hemingway based El Sordo on real Spanish partisans, blending heroism with horror. Metallica amps it up with stiffened wounds test their pride. Men of 5, still alive through the raging glow. Bombs dropping, fire everywhere. These guys are half dead but clinging to ego. Gone insane from the pain, it's war's madness, straight up. And the chorus. For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. That's Donne's echo but twisted. Death's bell rings for all, and time doesn't give a damn. What if we updated it? For whom the notification pings, your Uber's here, but so's the Reaper. Okay, bad pun, but you get it. Alright, let's crank the volume on the album Shenanigans. Ride the Lightning drops in '84, Metallica's sophomore slam, and it's a game changer. They hightail it to Copenhagen, Denmark. Why? Cheap studio time thanks to exchange rates. Sweet Silence Studios, run by this wizard Flemming Rasmussen, who co-produces. First time they're in Europe recording, living like broke Vikings in a freezing flat. Lars later said it was cold as balls, but it forged their sound. Fun fact, this is the first Metallica track cut to a click track, that metronome tick to keep time. Lars struggled, but it taught him precision. Without it, the song might have wandered like a drunk at last call. Recording the intro, Cliff layers those bass tracks like a mad scientist. And that opening bell toll? Not some church recording. Lars smacks an anvil with a hammer mixed with a bell from a sound effects reel. Rasmussen edited it to fit the tempo, copying it onto tape. Genius hack. What if they used a real bell? Probably would have summoned actual demons. The full track clocks in at 5:11, but they drop a promo single edit at 3:59 for radio, because who has time for epic builds in the 80s? Release day, July 27, '84, on Megaforce before Elektra picks him up. Shenanigans. The band was so broke they slept on the studio floor. James recalls eating cheese sandwiches for weeks. And the cover art, that electric chair? Symbolic of war's execution, tying back to the song's themes. But here's a satirical swipe. While pop stars were snorting fortunes, Metallica's luxury was Danish beer and dreams of world domination. Ride the Lightning? More like Ride the Budget Bus. As the song blasts out, it catapults to mythic status. Live? It's a staple, number 5 on their all-time played list, over 1,600 times. Debuted in '84, and by '85, crowds are chanting that riff like a war cry. Controversies? Well, metal in the '80s was under fire from the PMRC. Tipper Gore's crew labeling albums for violent lyrics. Ride the Lightning dodged the sticker, but songs like this fueled the panic. War imagery? Must be Satan. Satirical aside, imagine Tipper hearing blackened roar, massive roar. She probably thought it was about burnt toast, not bombs. No lawsuits here, but the album's theme sparked debates on metal's influence on youth. Culture-wise, it ripples everywhere. Used in Zombieland for zombie-bashing montages, fitting since the lyrics scream apocalypse. Remix on the Spawn soundtrack by DJ Spooky, turning it into hip-hop metal mash. Even WWE's Triple H borrowed the bell toll for entrances, though his main theme's Motorhead. Obscure trivia. The Bee Gees dropped a song called For Whom the Bell Tolls in '93. Same title, Zero Thrash. What if they collabed? Disco mosh pits? Absurd. But the real rise. That bass intro redefined metal bass. Before Cliff, bass was background. After, it's a weapon. Fans mishear lyrics constantly. Stiffened wounds as suffered wounds. Or, it's the last time he will, as you will. Deep meaning in the second verse. Take a look to the sky just before you die. It's the last time he will. Hemingway's hero glances up at death. Metallica makes it universal. Blackened roar is the airstrike. Shattered gold, the broken spirit. Stranger now are his eyes to this mystery. Here's the silence so loud. Insanity sets in. Silence deafening post-blast. Crack of dawn. All is gone except the will to be. Now they see what will be. Blinded eyes to see. Survival instinct versus inevitable end. Ripple effects? It inspired thrash bands like Slayer to weave literature in, turning metal intellectual. And culturally? It's shorthand for doom, quoted in movies, memes, even politics for war critiques. What if Donne heard it? Send not to know for whom the riff shreds, it shreds for thee. Now legacy time. This track's immortal. Certified 3x platinum in the US, gold in the UK, and it's racked billions of streams. ranked 39 on Rolling Stone's greatest heavy metal songs. Live with the San Francisco Symphony in S&Amp M99 and S&Amp M219. Orchestral thunder, strings swelling on that chorus like a requiem. Weirdness. Fans cover it on everything. Bells, literal tolling, in Alice in Chains style, grungy gloom. Even classical reactions praising its composition. Obscure fact, the bell is part anvil, debunking myths of a real church peal. And Cliff's death in '86? Tragic irony. The song's about futile ends, and he goes in a bus crash. But his riff lives eternal. Cultural waves? It boosted Hemingway sales among metalheads, libraries suddenly stocked with war novels. Satirical jab. Without this, English teachers might still hate headbangers. What if Metallica went pop? For whom the auto-tune calls. Now this is pure respectful genius, energetic thrash with brains. Ooh, we've tolled through the tolls. If this made you laugh, think, or air drum, smash that like button, subscribe for more metal myths, and comment your favorite riff below. Is it this or something cheesier? Until next time, remember, time marches on, but great riffs, they toll forever. Peace out.